Namaste, I'm Shivani Mohan and this is New India Junction. As we celebrate the 72nd birthday of PM Modi, one cannot help but admire how he has touched the lives of millions of people with his vision and dynamism. In the book Modi at 20 Dreams Meet Delivery that was launched earlier this year, leading luminaries of India narrated their impressions of PM Modi through personal anecdotes and observations. Well, while the list of authors is long, let me recount some of them to you today. Starting with PV Sindhu, India's premier badminton player, in a chapter titled Why Modi is Undisputed Youth Icon, PV Sindhu fondly recalls an incident when she interacted a lot with PM Modi after her silver medal win at Rio Olympics. This incident is from the late 1970s during the Morbi floods. So PM Modi told PV Sindhu that during these floods, the town of Morbi was devastated. And the people were totally, in despair. They didn't know what to do. And they were waiting for the government to do something about it. So, as a young Swayamsevak, Modi saw the natural disaster from close quarters. He had gone and camped over there and was helping the people in rehabilitation work. That is when he did something very brilliant. He wrote a heartfelt letter to the people of Morbi and distributed it door to door. When the people read that letter, they were inspired to do something about the rehabilitation themselves. So Modi gave them the message of self-reliance. But even at that young age, he had learned that those in power or office must trust youth in delivery and make them part of the delivery system. And that was one of the great incidents PV Sindhu remembers. Next, I would move to Ajit Daval, who's the National Security Advisor of India. He recalls how in the response to Uri in 2016, a few aspects stood out. One, it was a simultaneous operation by multiple strike teams at 4 distinct locations. Secondly, it was a political call by the Prime Minister, which meant that he was taking responsibility not only for success but also failure. This exhibited risk-taking at the highest level, a quality shown by very few. Another very interesting incident is narrated by Amit Shah ji, who writes in the book, in his chapter, that Narendra Bhai is practical to an exacting degree. So, in this chapter, he relates that how after the parliamentary election of 2014, he was appointed as the BJP national president. So, in 2015, they were planning a party membership drive. Now, PM Modi's immediate response was that if they did it the old-fashioned way, how would it serve any purpose and how would it expand BJP? So, PM Modi suggested to Mr. Amit Shah that they should use technology for this purpose. And they should have a membership based on a missed call. So, anybody who gave a missed call on a pre-advertised number would become an automatic member of the party. But PM Modi also envisaged the next step. He said that just giving a missed call doesn't show the commitment and the allegiance with the party. So, then each one of those numbers would have to be called and given the basic information and the ideals and the future plans of the party. And that is how they would get them into the fold. So, they called it Shubh Chintak Se Karyakarta Tak. The next very interesting anecdote is by Mr. S. Jaishankar, the External Affairs Minister of India. In his chapter titled Foreign Policy, Vision and Achievements, he writes, and let me read out this one to you. In concrete ways, the personal ties PM has forged have directly advanced the interests of our nation and people. It could be the Saudi king responding to his request for a ceasefire in Yemen, to allowing evacuation of Indians, or indeed the increase in the Hajj quota for Indian Muslims and the construction of the Hindu temple in Abu Dhabi. Some, like Qatar, responded to his personal appeal on a significant proposal to reduce energy costs. Conversations with his Russian counterpart facilitated the expansion of our hydrocarbon investments in that country. And with more than one partner, there has been an exceptional response to urgent security needs. Truth be told, a vigorous and interactive leader makes all the difference. There is no gainsaying the fact that Prime Minister Modi looms large on the world stage. Here I would like to recall Manoj Ladva, Chairman and CEO of London headquartered India Inc. Group, in a chapter authored with Bharat Barai, recounts a unique incident. So he recalls that how in the summer of 2000 he was travelling with Modi ji on the Piccadilly line underground into central London, and they visited the house of an Indian businessman in the plush Mayfair area. So after the tea and pleasantries, what Modi ji did was he held the businessman's hand and leaned over and looked deeply into his eyes, and he asked him that, would you do something for me? So the obvious reaction anybody would have from a politician is that, maybe Modi ji was asking for some favor. But what Modi ji said was what astounded everybody. Basically what he said was that the businessman's father had contributed a lot to the social causes in India and the world over. And he wanted his son to ensure that a biography is written to capture all those good deeds as an inspiration to others. So this was actually very awe-inspiring for everybody present there. These are the different ways in which Modi ji touches lives and hearts. Another very interesting incident or anecdote is by Mr. Uday Kotak, founder and CEO of Kotak Mahindra Bank. He says in his chapter, his visits to different parts of the world as CM and later as a PM always accompanied a keen desire to bring change in India. He recalls walking on the streets in Japan how Modi ji saw yellow textured pavers or braille blocks assisting the visually challenged. On his return, he soon replicated the tactile blocks at Kankaria lakefront in Ahmedabad. And last but not the least, I would like to mention the chapter by Mr. Nandan Nilekani, Chairman and co-founder of Infosys, who was also the founding chairman of the Unique Identification Authority of India, UIDAI, or the Aadhaar card. He was one chief minister amongst the all he met who understood the concept of Aadhaar effortlessly. He was the most receptive to it. In 2007 itself, Modi's government in Gujarat had issued an order that had abolished paper files in the Gandhinagar Secretariat. So no surprise that he had grasped all the possibilities and potential of Aadhaar. Because of this, Nandan Nilekani knew that he was meeting a different kind of politician there. Well, so multiple incidents, unmatched learning. PM Modi is truly an example of an inspirational leader. We wish PM Modi a very, very happy birthday. Thank you all from New India Junction.